Friends, welcome to the 23rd Sunday in Ordinary Time. And once again, thank you for tuning in to our weekly video reflection. Let's go straight to the gospel today because I thought it is very interesting. This gospel lays out, this portion lays out the requirements. What does it cost a person to become a Christian? As you know, at that time when Jesus was teaching this portion of the gospel, he had so many people following him, so many followers, but not all of them became disciples. Because followers, for simply following, as a matter of fact, Jesus here turned around and asked them, hey, you've been following me for a while now, wherever I went. Why are you following me? Is it because you've seen the miracles that I performed and I raised the dead and healed the sick? Is it only for this reason? So we came to know that not all followers became disciples, because a disciple is different from a follower. A disciple is that person who is committed and has offered himself or herself to embracing the life and teachings of Christ. So what does it cost someone? What does it cost a person to follow or embrace Christ? Here Jesus offers us two parables or two metaphors. He says that if you want to become a Christian, it is like building a house. You know, of course, when you build a house, you will calculate the cost. Do you have the money? Are you able to get loans? And so that house will become a reality. Not only you end up by not being able to provide a roof or not able to provide windows. So here Jesus is trying to say, wanting to become a Christian requires that it costs all of you, your heart, your life, everything that you are. So also another parable here, Jesus says, it's like also becoming a Christian is like going to a war. You know, of course, when you go to war, you would like to win that war and avoid as many casualties as possible. And yet here, Jesus says, but you will not go to a war if your infantry, if your battalion is so small that you can easily be routed by the enemy. So, what is Jesus trying to say here? That for us to becoming a Christian is an everyday challenge. Becoming a disciple of Christ is an everyday challenge. Because what that means is to embrace and being able to live the life that He lived. We were able to become, Christ will be seen through us in the ways we forgive others, in the way we, show humility to others, in the way we turn the other cheek for us, in the way we love the other unconditionally, even if it is difficult to love, in the way we show respect, in the way we live life happily. That is what it means to become a Christian. And embracing Christianity is embracing the life of Christ. And that is every day. That is every day. And even it can even cost us further and deeper, because here Jesus says that at some point, not all people will agree with us. Perhaps our family members have fallen out the wagon, in a sense that they started to leave the church and they started to criticize us. They started to, speak badly about us. Yeah, becoming a Christian will bring us to at some point that people will be persecuted. People around us will disagree with us. So what do we do with that? Shall we reciprocate hate against hate? Shall we reciprocate and tell them, oh, I'm better than you. I read more catechism. I read more Bible than you. Is that the way how a Christian, will exercise the virtue of Christ? So what is Jesus trying to say in front of this, conflicting situations in our family? Perhaps it's your parents. Perhaps it's your spouse, your wife, or your husband. Perhaps your children. You are no longer seeing eye to eye as far as your faith is concerned, or decisions that are based on faith. So what would you do with that? Here, interestingly, Jesus, at the beginning of the gospel, Jesus says, if anyone would like to come, anyone comes to me without hating his father, mother, wife, children, brothers, and sisters, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. hate. Wow, did it really come out from the mouth of Jesus that tells us to hate? Isn't it Jesus a person of love? Isn't Jesus an embodiment of forgiveness and compassion? Here Jesus is teaching us how to hate. It's unlikely to have come out from the mouth of Jesus. This also reminds us of some parallels in the Gospels where Jesus says, do you think that I came here on earth to spread peace? No, I'm spreading division. So if we don't understand the context, the tendency is we might avoid this gospel and go to some gospels that are easier. But I'd like to, the context here is that some of these disciples, especially the early disciples, started to weaken in their dedication, in their discipleship. They started to reciprocate. They started to get back. They started to refuse to turn the other cheek. They started to mellow down and they're loving their enemies. They started to struggle about their Christian faith because they too got angry. They too wanted to get back. They too wanted to withhold forgiveness. They too were become so selective in who they loved. And so for that reason, Jesus is saying, let me show you, let me teach you how to truly love. Here, I think when Jesus says, hate this relationship, your father, mother, children, and everyone around you. Again, Jesus is talking about, I think, hate the way we love them. Hate the way we loved our children. Hate the way we love our wife. Hate the way we love our husband. Hate the way we love the people around us. Because, you know what, you and I, we have the tendency, human as we are, we love in a very utilitarian way. We put people inside the box that I can only love you if you stay in the box. I can only love you when you come to church and come with me. I can only love you if you praise me. I can only love you, We put so many conditions before we sort of commit our love. But Jesus is saying that, no, that's not a Christian love. That is a human love, perhaps. That's how human love. But if you want to become a Christian, you need to hate the way you love them. You need to hate the way you put them in a box. You hate the way you expect of them. Because the way we do that, we are actually choking others. We are preventing them from becoming who they are. I'm not talking about, if some of the members are doing some sinful actions. Of course, that's a time when we call their attention. But I'm talking about some irrational expectations that we have. I can only love you if you are like this. If you are like this, isn't it? We experience that way. So what can we make of this? What can we make of this? Jesus is basically reminding us of the time when before Peter was sent as an apostle, was sent as a disciple. Jesus even tried to teach Peter by telling Peter, Peter, do you love me? And then feed my sheep. Do you love me, Peter? And then take care of my lamb. So what Jesus was actually trying to do with Peter is that Peter, a person of his own merits, a person of who he was, yet that person needed to be taught how to love. Jesus said, Peter, unless you love me, you cannot really love the flock. Unless you love me, you cannot really love them. Otherwise, your love will only be utilitarian, not the way I love you. Because the way I love you, look at my wounds. I'm ready to be wounded for you. I'm ready to die for you. This is the kind of love that Jesus wants to teach us. Unless we embrace, unless we accept the love of Christ, unless we love Christ, the only love that can come out of ourselves might be utilitarian love. So sometimes I tend to compare about what is the opposite of loving. The opposite of loving is what? Using, right? Using. Because if you cannot truly love, if that love is, if not truly love like this love, we only end up using others. subservient according to my purpose, according to my plan, so that you will make me happy. So we are having everybody at our beck and call. For that reason here, it is so profound when Jesus says, if anyone comes to me without hating his father, mother, wife, children, brothers and sisters, and his own life too. Hate your life. Sometimes we think of ourselves as we refuse to accept who we are. We cannot accept our weaknesses. We want to become a different person. I want to be like this. I want to be like that. But somehow, many times, we despise what God has given us. Our life, our whole history is God-given. Yes, it's true. My life is, it's like a house of bricks and good bricks and not bricks, good decisions and bad decisions. But that's who I am. And Jesus says, love that. Love who you are. Hate the way when you think about you want to become a different person. Hate the way when you think you want this spouse to become a different person. So dear friends, this is what it costs for us to become disciples of Christ. To be truly a real disciple of Christ. Of course, it is a journey. A disciple is a journey. For some people, it may be one time, but for others, it can be a journey. Little by little, it's a Christian journey until we embody this Jesus hanging on the cross. Thank you very much.